everyone, welcome to the Great Summer Cookout. So this is 3 sessions. This is the first one, yay! And the goal is to my goal is to teach you a dish that can actually be made either at home, in your oven, on a barbecue, or if you're out camping, this is a great one to actually put right into the campfire. Right over top of the campfire. Don't put it in there, it will burn up. But it's something that's easy to make. You can actually prep it ahead of time, or you can do it right there at the campsite. And you can cook it over an open fire, and it tastes delicious. And it's very simple to make. It only needs a few ingredients. It doesn't take long to prep at all, so we probably won't be going the full 45 minutes. Just because it is really, really simple, and it's a great dish that anyone can do. It involves some vegetables. Okay, so for this, we are going to be making broiled garlic butter potatoes. You need potatoes. You can use whatever kind you want. I picked up white potatoes. If you're a fan of onion, you can use onion. If you don't want to use onion, feel free, you don't have to. Sometimes I will put carrots in there, broccoli, I will mix in cauliflower, maybe some green beans if they're fresh too. Sometimes I put some corn. It just depends on what I feel like. You can mix a whole bunch of stuff in there. And the other thing you can do to make it a full meal is if you pre-cook chicken, you can actually put chicken in there as well. Just make sure it's pre-cooked. That way you're not getting cross-contamination, and you know it's cooked before it goes over the fire. All right, so why don't we get started? First thing you're gonna do is make sure you wash your potatoes, even though we are going to peel them. Just give them a quick rinse, and you just want, that one's already peeled, look at that. You just want to quickly peel them down, getting the skin. If you want to leave the skin on, you can do that as well. It's totally up to you. If you do leave the skin on, just make sure they're well washed, please. Because some people do like potato skins. For this one, I'm just going to take the skin off without taking my finger off. And the number of potatoes you want to use in the recipe just depends on how many people you're sharing it with, how much leftovers you want. And yeah, so I'm just going to do 3. These are about a medium-sized potato. These are my peeling skills. Aren't they fabulous? All right. So if you are using your oven, you can preheat it. You can use the broiler, or you can just use the bottom of the oven, and you want it up around 400. Either way tastes good in an oven as well. My favorite, other than the campfire, is actually to do these on the barbecue. You just throw the tinfoil wrapped potatoes on the barbecue on the top rack, and you just let them cook, usually about 30 minutes to 45 minutes, and they taste wonderful. Okay, so the next step we're going to do is we are going to slice those potatoes. I'm going to use a mandolin. You can use a knife. You can make them as thick or as thin as you'd like. This one is going to be a little bit thinner just because it's in my oven, and it will take a little bit longer for them to cook the thicker they are. You can actually chop them up or dice them as well if you want to do that, if you don't want potato slices. And just make sure when you're using a mandolin, you don't take your fingers off. Right, and it's going to give you potato slices in there. This is really easy to do a lot of stuff on. It comes with a lot of different attachments too. Everyone's jumping in. Hi everyone, sorry. We got started right at 3. Should have waited a few minutes. We're just making potatoes. So right now all we're going to do is we're just chopping up our potatoes. So what I've done is I've peeled them, and now I am using the mandolin just to make some potato slices. And we were discussing how this is a meal that can be made in your oven at home, on a barbecue, or while you're camping. It's very simple to make. It's only a few ingredients, and it doesn't take long to cook either. All right, that is a hot mess. No, that's not going to come out. Work with me here. All right, there we go. There are my sliced up potatoes. I'll put that there. All right, so what you want to do is, instead of just dropping it into a pan, we're going to use tinfoil because tinfoil works well on the barbecue. It works well on a campfire, and it does work well in the oven as well. Never put it in the microwave. These are not microwavable potatoes. And you're just going to take a length of tinfoil, and you're going to put it down. If you're putting this in the oven, you want to make sure it goes down on a pan, because when we put all the other stuff in there, if it leaks, it could cause a fire. Same thing, if it's going into a campfire, put it into a pan. So wrap it all up on the tinfoil, put it in a pan, and cook it on the campfire that way. Barbecue, you can just put it on the top rack of the barbecue, and it can leak down into there. It's fine. So we're going to take the tinfoil and the potatoes. That's a lot of potatoes. Put the extras there. So the potatoes are going to go on the tinfoil. So there's step one. Potatoes done, sort of. The next thing you can do is we can add in onions. So if you're not an onion fan, you might want to skip this one, but it does give it an extra little bit of a flavor. And feel free, if you have any questions while I'm doing this, you can take yourself off mute. You can ask questions as we go too. So for the onions, you can do onions. If you don't want to do onions, you don't have to. For this one, I will, because I like the taste of them on the barbecue and in the campfire. I know some chef is probably going to be like, why are you cutting the onion like that? That's the way I cut it. You want to peel the skin back. I just find it easier to peel when you take the ends off and not try and tear up like I was doing earlier. All right, there we go. What I'm going to do is I will use the mandolin again, or you can cut them up the regular way as well. You can do rings, you can dice them up, you can chop them up very, very finely. It's whatever you prefer. And you don't have to use white onion, you can use sweet onion, you can use red onion, whatever you prefer. So if we do, the table's not very sturdy. So you can do onion rings, and you can put them in there as well. So there's onion rings. And you can put them on top of your potatoes. And you don't want to over onion either, unless you're one of those people that loves a lot of onion. Or you can use the mandolin. Make sure it's attached. And you can chop it down and then drop the onion on the floor. I think it's a little bit more of a finer one to it. Not as thick as the rings that I just cut up. The onion's on the floor. Washed. All right. So there is your potatoes and your onions. This is going to go very fast. I know it says it's supposed to be 45 minutes, but we aren't going to make it to 45 minutes unless we cook it and sit here and watch it cook, but I don't think we're going to do that. All right. Any questions so far? In the chat box, anything? Off mute. My eyes are watering from the onions. We're not going to cry. All right. So now that we have the tinfoil with the onions and potatoes, which are hard to see because they are white and the tinfoil is shiny, the next thing now is if you want to add in other vegetables, you can. So you can put carrots in there, you can put broccoli in there if you want, peas, cauliflower, corn, you name it, you can put it in there, and it's great. You can even use green onions as well. You can chop those up and you can put it on top of the potatoes. And this would be if you also want to put a meat in there, so like a chicken, make sure your chicken is fully cooked before you chop it up or split up and put it on here. But this is where you would put that in there as well. So the next step is we're going to do the sauce. So what we're going to do is you're just going to take some butter and you're going to spread it on potatoes and onion. You want to use about 2 tablespoons of butter, depending on how much is down there as well. And you don't have to really spread it out. When it's on the fire, it's actually going to melt and it's just going to spread out all over everything. which is really, really cool. And this is also why if it's going into the oven or into the campfire, you want to make sure that it's in a pan because the tin foil will leak butter and it's going to be all over the place and it could light your oven on fire. Just be careful. All right, so that is butter. So I have different kind of seasonings here. So there's garlic, there's paprika, there's parsley, there's pepper. You can kind of flavor it to your own taste as well, just depending on what you like, what you don't like. If you want to use like cayenne pepper, feel free to do so, make them extra spicy. You can use just regular salt and pepper as well. I've done them before with barbecue sauce, which was really, really cool. Because that just soaks right in, especially the hickory barbecue sauce. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of garlic. And this is just garlic and seasoning. If you can get the actual like garlic butter or the garlic spread from the store, and you want to use that and dump that on there, you don't have to use the butter. You can just dump that on it. And I'm going to add some color to it. So I am going to sprinkle some parsley. So you can cut up some fresh parsley, or you can use the parsley flakes like I have. I couldn't find parsley in the store this week. Silly store. And then I'm going to add in some paprika as well. I like colors, not necessarily. There we go. All right. And then a little bit of pepper. Oh, that was a lot of pepper on one end. I've had people use vinegar before as well. I'm just going to go up the side. I love my broccoli in the freezer. But I wouldn't suggest vinegar. A little bit spicy. So you can add in some, this is just frozen broccoli. You can cut it up and you can add it in there as well. So you have a couple more vegetables. Make it really juicy. You can use fresh broccoli as well. I just find that I don't eat the fresh broccoli quick enough and it goes bad, so I like the frozen stuff. All right, so and there we go. The other thing you can do is, if you want to make it cheesy, you can use some cheese. So this is just a dairy-free cheese that I have. That was dairy-free butter that went on there as well. Just make it edible for me. So you can use all kinds of different ingredients. I'm going to put a little bit of cheese in there. All right. So, any questions so far? No, not in the chat box. You guys are just watching me make dinner. This is awesome. Okay. So, next step we're going to do is we're just going to fold in the aluminum foil. Sometimes you might need to use another sheet, just depending on how big you made it or how messy. And you're just going to fold it in and make sure that it catches so you can roll in the ends. And you see that it does have a little bit of a lip here. So that would be where anything's going to fall out, like any of the butter or the garlic is going to fall out. So we're just going to keep that in there like that. All right. So there is one of your final steps. So like I said, if you're going to put it in the oven, you're just going to get a little bit of a pan. It could be a broiling pan, it could be a cookie sheet. And okay. You're just going to put it down in there. That way it's going to catch anything that leaks out of that aluminum foil. And it's also thin enough that it's going to cook through that as well. You don't want to use a thick pan, because then it's going to have to cook longer. You can use one of these for an open campfire as well. A lot of people do have grills that go over the campfire, and you just place that on there and the fire. I mean, you want to make sure it's really, really hot, so you've got those red embers down at the bottom. You don't want flames shooting up while you're trying to cook this. You want that hot fire that's down at the bottom. And you can put that right on top of the grill, over top of the campfire, and let it cook. It's usually, depending on how high that fire is or how hot that fire is, it could take anywhere between 30 to 45 minutes. So I know when camping with my family all these years, what we do is we get it ready, we put it on, and then we go do other things. Whether it's, go play some camp games, or, just hang out and watch it cook, which is hilarious. That's what we do. Here in an oven, anywhere between 30 to 45 minutes as well, just once again, depending on the heat in your oven that it creates. If you want to broil it, depending once again how hot your broiler is, if it's working, it could take anywhere between 30 to 45 minutes. You want to keep checking on it, and the way you tell potatoes are done is that they're nice and soft, they're not hard. Because these were a little bit thinner slices, they will cook a little bit faster. They won't have to take that long. If you're using huge chunks or huge big slices of the potato, it may take a little bit longer. And then once again, barbecue, you can just place that aluminum foil right on there. My favorite part is picking off the potatoes off the aluminum foil because they're nice and crunchy. And then you can pair it with chicken, you can pair it with steak, you can pair it with any kind of meat that you want, shish kebabs, or you can just have a potato dinner, which is really cool as well. So I'm gonna put that in the oven. You guys are not gonna watch it cook, unfortunately, so put that in the oven. It's still hot. And you're gonna let that cook, and then we can just hang out and chat because, we still have some time and you guys are being awfully quiet. And then after it's done, you've got this great mess here of tin foil. So when it's ready, very carefully taking it off the grill. So using the grill clips, using pot holders, making sure you've turned down the grill as well, so you're not going to burn your hands reaching across. If it's in the fire, usually you have tongs or whatever to grab something out of the fire. That's when you grab it out. Once again, coming out of the oven, you're just going to use your oven mitts. And what we're going to do is, this one's got a double layer, so I split the aluminum foil. So you can see, oh, yum. And then we are going to unravel it. And it smells delicious. This one doesn't have any cheese in it because I forgot the cheese. Oops. And then you just pick off all the potatoes off the tin foil. Sometimes, like on the barbecue, they really get baked in, which is lots of fun. And then your tin foil just goes into the garbage. And then you have this wonderful potato. Kind of looks like scallop potatoes, but there's onions, there's broccoli in there, there's lots of great scents in there. And you got yourself a nice little side dish, or like I said, a full-on dish. And then from here, you can always add on extra stuff if you want some more cheese on it. If you want to spice it up a little bit more because it lost some of it, which it shouldn't, but sometimes it just leaks out. You can put a little bit of pepper on it, some salt, and you can pair it with whatever. So if you have any questions, that was really, really fast. I do apologize. But if you do have any questions, feel free to ask. I can take us off record. That way you have free reign of asking questions, and I don't mind. If not, very, very quick tutorial, very quick meal today. I will post it, and I also post the recipe and stuff that you need to our IG, and then feel free to make it sometime this weekend or maybe even tonight for dinner. So I'm going to take you guys off record. Please stick around and ask questions if you want. Take yourself off mute. I don't mind, and if not, have a great night, guys.